Is up. What's up, everybody? This is the Elevation Podcast. My name is Shawn Riff-Raff, and we just here to talk some good stuff, some good God stuff. We got a special guest in the building. My man, some of y'all might know him. Some of my people may not, but we go back a long way. Give it up for my man Curtis DK Thomas. You know, I got to get claps. Well, yeah, we'll learn as we go along. I got to get claps. Claps work. Yeah. Man, you know, I've got a different, how I want to put this. God has me on a different path these days. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I've noticed.
He got me in a different, it's a different, I can't even really explain it. It's a different, it's a different path. Yeah. And, you know, it's like submission times 10.
Ain't that the truth?
Right?
Hey, you preach it out.
Hey, it's like it's submission times 10. Yeah. Right? It's like I want you to do what it is I want you to do.
Yep. That's the
right?
truth.
And I'm changing your plans, what you thought was your plan for your life. I'm changing that. I'm changing what you thought, you know, where you thought you would be. Wow. I'm changing all that. Wow. I'm changing everything about your plans. Yeah. And I want you to submit to the plan that I have. That's right. Hard, because I'm accustomed to my plans. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so this podcast is this is us. This is me in a submitted form saying, all right, God, this is what you want me to do? Wow. Why? You know what? I ain't even asking you no questions. Wow. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, and it's crazy. And like I was telling you before, I'm booked all the way up till February. And even in February, I'm still trying to figure it out, like who it is that the Lord had me bring on. I know the first thing I heard was bring you on first. Yeah. And that which is crazy. The first thing I heard is it's like bring you on first. Yeah. And that's yeah. You know what I mean? And that is like, all right, well, okay. Bring, you know, and I think that I haven't heard this from you before, but you know where I want to start, where I want to kick off today. Of course, we're gonna talk about a lot of things. Yeah. I'm gonna try to avoid the subject. We could probably gonna end up on Kanye.
Hey, I ain't got no beef with him.
I'll try to avoid the subject. It's so polarizing. Anyway, we'll get to the culture talks. Yeah. But So the one thing where I wanted to start off here is about you. Yeah. Where it is you come from. Where it is, what brings you to, you know, what brought you to Christ in the beginning. Yeah. And because I know you've been in the ministry for at least.
Look, don't tell that age, yeah?
Let's just say a long time, because I know you've been in ministry for a really long time. Yeah. You know, I also want to talk a little bit about where you are today versus where you started initially. But let's start with you. Tell me about Curtis. You know, where you come from. You know, and what brought you to salvation in the first place. I think that's important. It's important, especially for people who are considering but haven't made the decision on salvation. Yeah. Sometimes they see us in our seasoned state, right? And they believe that because we are in our seasoned state, we didn't come from a state of unseasoned.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Truth.
But so let's start there. Tell me about Curtis. This is a story I never heard before. So I'm gonna enjoy just listening to this. This is a story I never heard before.
So I come from, born and raised in D.C., born at Washington Hospital Center under my mom's. And we lived right there on Q Street, like right off Southeast behind the Costa High School. So that's where I was originally at. So I grew up there probably since I was about 5 almost. But then my pops rolled out, so then you had the single mom. So from that standpoint, me and moms was pretty much on our own along with my sister. And moms was trying to make ends meet. So since pop's gone, she basically on her own. So what happened from there was we was homeless for a while, and so I had to sleep at my mom's job for a while on her floor because she used to work at Little Tavern.
Okay.
Everybody remember Little Tavern, man, on Pennsylvania Avenue. So she used to work there, and so I used to have to sleep on the floor with her, and wake up. At least I had hamburgers, you know what I'm saying? So I had the Little Tavern burgers was hitting.
Right.
But see, back then, my mom had a lot of angelic visitations.
Yeah.
So we ain't know nothing about, like I ain't know nothing about God, Jesus, or any of that.
Right.
But I do know testimony of angelic visitations to the family.
Right.
At that time. She also tried to commit suicide too. And that goes along with several things that I went through as a youngin'.
Right.
With demonic visitations as a child, sleepwalking, hearing demon voices. I know a lot of people don't believe in demons and the supernatural, so that kind of threw me for a loop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As a youngin', almost kidnapped too. I was almost kidnapped outside.
Wow.
And it was a lady. You know, she pulled me up while I was outside. Bless you.
Thank you.
She was outside. I was outside playing by myself, and the lady came out the alley and tried to kidnap me. It's a lot of alleys right there on Q Street.
Right.
If everybody lived over there, it's a lot of alleys. So the lady came from out the alley, picked me up. My sister happened to see me and seen the lady pick me up, and she ran. My sister ran, chased the lady down. The lady dropped me. Word was the lady disappeared, kind of situation. I don't know where the lady went. None of that.
Wow.
So it just kind of a lot of things like that. I grew up, and of course a lot of fighting after that because, you know, you got a mom that's struggling, so you struggling with your mom.
Right,
you know what I mean? So finally, my grandmother of mine finally went and bought a house. It's like a one-level little house right there on B Street off of Texas Avenue.
Right.
By Plummer Elementary School. So
okay.
It was boarded up and all that. So she just got us a little house so we wouldn't be out on the street.
Right.
And that's where I grew up at on B Street from the age at least about, I want to say, at least about 9, all the way up through, 17, 18. Pretty much for the rest of my life, I grew up there, right there on B Street.
Oh, wow.
And then I went to different schools, you know, with the struggle, because I went to Orr at first, then I went to Plummer, then I went to River Terrace, because my grandmother lived over there. So,
okay.
And all that while I was struggling, you know, because you go to school, you ain't got the name brand clothes, shoes,
Yep.
you getting joned on.
Right.
Oh, you darker than others. We weren't in style at that time. So, you know, dark skin wasn't in style, so dark skin was ugly, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
You know, so I had to go struggle with that, you know what I'm saying? So one thing I did have was singing, so everybody knew I knew how to sing, you know what I mean? But just through the struggle, man, that's pretty much how I came up.
Right.
And then, of course, you know, you go through bullying, you go through getting picked on, all that, because you ain't got no siblings, you ain't got no backing, you ain't got no street backing.
Right.
You just a at-home little youngin'.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? By yourself, no dad there, you're all on your own. So finally, when I got up to, I say about River Terrace, I still ain't have no heart like that, because I ain't really had no backing.
Right.
Picked up a couple friends there, though. So then it wasn't until I got to, like, junior high where I got really mad at the world, just try to figure out what life is all about. After the demons, after the going through the torture, being picked on, and the abuse and all that. You know what I'm saying? I was molested as a youngin' too, you know what I'm saying, because mom holding down the job. So, you know, you got an older person trying to come and take care of the child while you at work.
Yeah, yeah.
The trust in them. So I was molested too. So that kind of changed my life. And so with all of that, demons, molestations, I've been through all that walks of life, man. So by the time I got to junior high, which was at Elliott,
right.
Because I cried not to go to Kelly Miller, because all the gangsters went to Kelly Miller. Not unbeknownst that all the gangsters went to Elliott too. So I got up to Elliott. I'm like, I seen a couple dudes I had got jumped by, man, that summer, and my heart just dropped. I said, man, I gotta get me some heart somewhere. You know what I mean? So I got up there, man, and met some Simple City homies, man. They told me to come around their way. And from that standpoint, that changed my life right there. Because I went around the way, ain't had no parts of the streets.
Right.
Know what I'm saying? Got around there, that was a rude awakening. So watching gunshots, seeing murder, all that. Fighting, guns, knives. Look, they like, bro, let me see you throw your hands, man, because I heard you be getting picked on at school.
Really?
They like, throw your hands.
Wow.
So I'm like, y'all want me to throw my hands around here? In the middle of all these killers and gangsters? They like, yeah, let me see. So I threw my hands. They said, that's all you need to do. Right. So after that, I got hot. So by the time I went back to school, I was a whole nother person. Fighting, gang banging, jumping folk, knives in my pocket. So I was wilding.
Right.
But that whole time, you know, moms didn't know for real that I got into gangs and stuff.
Right.
So it wasn't until one day the principal called her and said, your son in the gang. And he been fighting and running, skipping school. He ain't been in school, all that. So she came up there. To her surprise, she couldn't believe it. Got in the office with him. And moms was, you know, prayed over me, man. Was been there for me. Because I just watched her struggle and all that. I just needed some answers.
Right, right.
So I was kind of that angry child at that time, man, so, and violent. So needless to say, man, what happened, the transfer was, I was on my way to Eastern High School.
Okay.
In the midst of running with Simple City and doing all what I was doing. And my mom basically was like, nah, you ain't going up there. All that fighting and hell you raised down Elliott, you ain't going to Eastern. You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, I still had the knives in my pocket, right? So she like, man, you gonna go to, I'm gonna make you go to Sarasville, right?
PG.
Yes.
All right.
Sarasville, all the way out there in Clinton, Maryland, right?
Yeah.
So she said, I got an aunt out there you gonna live with. You gonna go out. She called the aunt like, I'll take care of him. We got him. Got out there. I'm still all hood Curtis. Got enemies out, making enemies out there. They had their little wannabes out there too, you know what I'm saying? They smoke weed, but it wasn't no metal detectors. I'm used to that.
Right.
So there wasn't no metal detectors. It was birds and bees. Grass was on it. I saw grass.
I mean, it was grass. They had grass. They had grass.
They had
and
grass, you know what I'm
like,
saying?
it's like, you know, you know you're from the hood if you appreciate the grass.
I'm trying to tell you. It wasn't no weed in the air. It was like.
I just want everybody to know I grew up with grass.
Yeah, man, it was beautiful out there. So I was like, man, why y'all want to be hood out here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They living in houses out Clinton. They got cops. Like, what y'all mad for? Everybody want to be gangsters. I'm like, I don't get it. Yeah, look. So by the time I got out that joint, I was pretty much like, I'm from Clinton. They was like, man, I'm from South Hill. I'm like, look, I'm from Clinton. You know what I'm saying? So my homies had houses I ain't never been in before. 3-level houses, dogs in the yard, slim, good food, granite countertops and all that. T-top. My man, I got a white friend. You know what I mean? When I got out there.
Right.
When you get out the hood, you appreciative of.
Right. You're appreciative of what you don't have.
Right. You don't gotta fight no more.
I remember when I was growing up. You know, I grew up in PG, so I grew up. You know, I didn't grow up in the city. And so, but a lot of my friends moved to PG from the city. I mean, we moved to PG from the city too, but I was too young. Like I was like 8 or something. I was too young. But a lot of my friends, they had just moved from the city or whatever. And we lived in a 3-level townhouse. You know,
that's love.
And I remember my one friend Donald came over like, so like your parents live together, and I was like, yeah, and he was like, but like
real
together,
talk.
and it's like they didn't. He didn't really. It was like he didn't understand the concept. Like he just never grew up with that around him, and it was like I realized I was like abnormal.
Yeah.
But you know the single parent stuff, that was the norm. Where I came, we was the Cosbys.
See, and that's how I took.
Yeah.
That's how I took.
Yeah.
I'm like, you come out here. I'm like, what y'all want to be from?
Yeah.
What y'all want to be from where I'm from for?
So, tell me, when did your transition to being, because eventually you got to where you are.
Yeah.
So you came from this background
Mhm.
of just hood and struggling,
Yeah.
just living, homeless,
Mhm.
on the streets
Yep.
or whatever. You got to Surrattsville, to a Maryland high school.
Yep.
All right, so when was your transition to like to knowing who God was?
So what happened was I kept hearing God throughout my life. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I kept hearing them.
Yeah.
Like I felt them. It's kind of crazy. Like,
Okay.
you feel them because your mom kind of instilled.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you kind of saw him through. You saw him work.
Yeah.
I seen him work.
Right.
Through my mother.
Mhm.
So I'm talking about when we was boiling water, like using boiled water for our bath water.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I seen him work through that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when she said she almost killed herself, and here she heard God call her, like literal Teresa, she heard God call her.
That's my mother name.
Yep. Wow. From a park bench, he was like Teresa.
Yeah.
And she jumped up. She ain't never heard nothing like that.
Right.
She jumped up, the knife in her hand, like, who was that? He called her again. That scared her. She ran home.
Right. I bet.
So stuff like that, I knew it stuck with me. Like, okay, there is a God. You know what I mean? So by the time I got to Surrattsville, it was a prayer group going on at the school.
Really?
There was a prayer group going on at Surrattsville. They was called the Riches, right?
Uh-huh.
Mr. and Miss Rich, right?
Wow.
They had a son named Howard Rich, right? So Howard Rich had a gospel go-go band named New Creation.
I remember.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? I knew you were going to come back to me. So Howard was the most amped leader I have ever seen. You know what I mean?
Howard, light-skinned Howard?
Yep, light-skinned Howard.
Okay, got you. I know.
And when he...
With the curly hair?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's him.
Okay.
Because all of us was in there. It was
I seen
him,
him the other day.
Khadijah, yeah, because he on the street name.
I seen him.
And then the flip is a flip. So peep the game, y'all. This is how this works.
I just want you to know, I prayed with him on the street at the new on Allentown Road.
Wow.
At the,
Recently?
About a month and a half ago.
Wow.
About right there at the the Royal Farms. He was at the Royal Farms, Allentown Road. He told me he just, he was. Anyway.
All right, now look, we going in on here, y'all.
All right,
we already felt the emotions due. What's up, Jay? Man, so look, so him, it was cousin him. He heard me singing in the hallway one day.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, you know how to sing?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I want you to be part of my band." I didn't know what he was talking about. So I was like, "All right." So of course my mother is cool with anything that goes on out there.
Right.
There's a positive atmosphere. Oh, you talking about a Christian saying, "Come, all right, bye." You know what I mean? She's like, roll out. You know what I mean? I go to this dude's house. He got little setup congos and drums. He had like a pizza band. You know what I'm saying? He was getting it together. And I came in, a gospel go-go band. Next thing you know, he got all the connects to the shows. I'm singing all over the place.
Wow.
Next thing you know, I'm in their Bible studies. I felt God. I was back and forth because, that Bone Thugs and Harmony was out back then. So, I was kind of back and forth. I was still trying to be a Bone Thug along with Jesus. So it just wasn't.
No, I feel you.
It just wasn't, working right.
Right. I feel you.
So between him recruiting me to a gospel go-go band, he introduced me to Grape Tree Records.
I remember them.
Now, Grape Tree Records was a bunch of hood dudes.
I remember them.
That pushed gospel rap, but the rap was so hood.
It was hood, yeah.
And I'm listening to the tracks like, dog.
There was like the Christian
No Limit.
No Limit.
That's
back in the
they
day.
was.
They had all the. I remember.
Lil Raz.
You know what's funny about people in hip hop? Like they think it's new.
Yeah.
And you 18 years. Like my parents, I came from a church family, right? We went to church all the time. That's what we did, right? My parents, you went through Bone Thugs and Harmony phase. I had to sneak and listen to Bone Thugs and Harmony because my parents wasn't having it.
I still had to sneak it though.
And so my parents used to be parents. They used to take me to the Christian bookstore.
Yeah.
The Jesus bookstore on Allentown Road.
Allentown Road.
And we used to go in that joint. You got some rap?
Yep.
You like rap?
Yeah.
And so I grew up
That's
on
it.
Christian hip hop.
See?
25 30 years ago.
Wow.
You know, I'm listening to Stephen Wiley and PID and SFC
Mm-hmm.
and all of them. Those are the artists I
Mhm.
grew up as normal,
That's
except
right.
for I had to introduce them to everybody. And so everybody had
Wow.
talk about gospel go-go and gospel and Christian hip hop like it's new. And I'm like, man,
It's not.
I'm you know.
It's not.
Anyway,
Thank
sorry,
you.
go.
That's the truth. No, he's telling it. So how he introduced me to gospel go-go.
Right.
So the next phase was I've never been to a experience where Jesus was everywhere and youngins in my age bracket on fire for the Lord.
Right.
Okay, so let me back up. So when Howard introduced me to the gospel go-go thing, I wasn't completely saved just yet.
Right.
But his mom and his father was doing his Bible study at the school, so he invite me. So I go to that Bible study, and I felt God in the joint.
Yeah.
So I was going back and forth through my phase. A couple other believer youngins, my age bracket, were kind of looking at me, and they was disappointed that I was kind of back and forth.
Right.
You know what I mean? So next thing you know, I had a sister come to me. I ain't gonna never forget. Anita came to me and was like, I'm disappointed in you. I'm looking for you to, if you're going to be all the way in or you're going to be all the way out. You know what I'm saying? I see what God doing for you. I want you to be all the way in.
Right.
Man, that touched me. You know what I mean? So I went to the Bible study where all of them was at again.
Right.
And I gave my life to the Lord. But I felt God come in me, though. Like that time when I really said I do to the Lord, I felt his presence come in me, though. Like, I knew it was him. And my whole life changed from that point on. Spiritual gifts was awakening, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So people don't believe it, but it got to be a faith thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a faith thing.
Absolutely.
All the way. So from that standpoint, God started feeding me. So next thing you know, Howard was like, I no longer want to do the band. I'm giving you the whole leadership. You had a keychain, the contacts, the musician. You are totally the leader of New Creation. I got into leadership. Didn't ask for it. Didn't know what I was getting into, because if I did, I probably would have
just stayed at the prayer. I'd have just stayed in prayer, you know. And
yeah. So what happened was he introduced me to Exodus.
Yeah.
They had the jams on Friday nights at 5840. That was my first encounter with God to that level.
Yeah.
To showing me how I can praise God loudly and be open about it, not ashamed about it. You know what I mean? With gospel go-go band, so POC, Exodus was playing. And the submission. I'm like, I ain't know it was other bands.
Yeah.
So now I'm thrown into this mix like, man, so I'm there every Friday in the jam, screaming and hollering, getting introduced like, what's up, man of God? And coming from a household, let me say this, coming from a household where I didn't have that man figure, they were that men figure for me. So I was able to go to see some men of God in my age bracket, say, what's up, man of God, to me, and let me feel like a man of God.
Right.
Not judge me.
Right.
None of that. I'm in there just praising God in their way.
That's what's up.
So that's how I got introduced to God. Man.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's really how you got into the gospel go-go.
Yeah.
Because you've been pretty much the most consistent person.
Right.
And you know, I obviously I've been around long enough to see him come and go.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I've been in Maryland. I moved away from Maryland. I've been in DC. I moved away from DC.
Remember.
I came. I lived in Baltimore, but it was just far enough from DC not to ever hear go-go and come back. And the person who is consistently there is Curtis. So tell me about, your journey. Just tell me a little bit about the journey, over these years, as it concerns with gospel go-go.
Wow.
Because I remember the one time we went down. We always talk about this all the time, but one time we went down to South Carolina with Rue.
Yeah.
And
This guy.
That was a trip, man.
Y'all delete that part.
Man, it was a trip, but
wow.
but we got to. That's when we really kind of met.
Yeah.
I mean, we met before then,
Yeah.
because I did shows with the gospel go-go
Oh,
bands.
I still got your track. The track hitting thousands on YouTube
What's that?
that you rapped on.
Oh yeah.
I'm a soldier.
I don't even
Image.
remember.
Yep, I sent it. I
don't even remember rapping.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But yeah, so like, but it's something about being on the road with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That you get an opportunity to either love them or hate them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
True
because
True
there's a
that.
couple things you can't do with everybody. You cannot travel with everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Some
Mhm.
people they're cool when we go to events on
Mhm.
Friday nights, and that's cool for a couple hours,
Mhm.
and then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But some people, you get to know people, or you get to know a different part of people when you got to travel with them.
That's right.
And so I got to know. There's a couple people on that we don't mess with no more
Oh, I'm
because
hip.
because
I'm
we
hip.
travel too much. No, but tell me about your journey in gospel go-go, because gospel go-go is it's a thing. So like, you know what I mean? Like you like the authority at this point.
Yeah.
And I there's been different authorities across,
I'm
down,
hip.
through the years. It's been
Mhm.
different, but you're like the authority now. Like, it's like, yeah, what you want to do? Call Curtis.
Yep.
Gospel go-go band coming. That mean Curtis coming.
Mm-hmm.
That mean, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like every event, every event. Every event that a go-go band is at, you be there,
Yeah.
or you had something to do with it.
Yeah.
And so tell me about your process, like over the last, you don't gotta tell all the details, and
Yeah.
we don't want to tell nobody's dirt, but
Hey man, all I can say is Gospel Go-Go built character in me. It built me because Gospel Go-Go was a slew of brothers from different walks of life,
right,
different churches, different denominations, different theology.
yeah,
Some of them went to church, some of them didn't. You still had weed smokers, you had people that were still Saxon folks, everything. It's different walks of life. It was just different walks of life. And I went through the process of growing up to be a man of God to where I'm at now. Where before I would respond, but now I don't respond.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's why I don't take for granted the Gospel Go-Go movement, not one bit.
right,
I actually appreciate each and every brother in Gospel Go-Go, even the ones that's not in Gospel Go-Go right now, that still might slander my name and all that. I actually appreciate them because that built my character.
right,
You know what I mean? And it took, and one thing for sure, my biggest spiritual gift is discernment of human spirits. I can walk in the room, scan it, because of Gospel Go-Go. It matured my spiritual gifts, Joe. Like you could go in a room, somebody approach. I'm like, nah. I already know up top. My wife even be like, son, how do you know? I'm like, son, if you've been through Gospel Go-Go with all the flu of breath, I try to tell people, Gospel Go-Go at one point was a dominant.
Pull that thing closer.
Huh?
Pull that thing closer. Yeah.
It was a dominant.
There you go.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry.
Gospel Go-Go at one point was a dominant piece in the go-go movement altogether.
Yeah.
We had like over 20 bands at one point. And with those bands, you dealing with all these personalities. We all dealing with each other.
Right.
And there, we had toe-to-toe moments. We had backstabbing moments, slandering moments. We had all those kind of moments, but at the end of the day, through all of that, it taught me business. It taught me leadership. It grew my leadership.
Right.
Because I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for God taking me through Gospel Go-Go and dealing with all these brothers. Because you already know, majority of the leaders of each band are like pastors now.
Right.
So it's like if you was a leader of a band, most likely you're a pastor or a minister or something now.
Right.
You know
well,
what I mean?
If you're gonna lead a band, your next step.
Pretty much. That's pretty much the
your
next
leadership.
step.
You know, a lot of pastors come from music because you deal with music is they come from the worship team, the praise team.
That's right.
You know, and what people don't really understand is like a lot of people skip the praise and worship and want to go to church.
Wow.
At the word, they want to hear the word because they selfish.
Yeah.
Because the word is what God has to say to you, and praise and worship is what you got to give to God.
That's right.
So like people they'll skip over the
Mhm.
praise and worship,
Yeah.
whatever. But when you in the when you in that you in that the music part, when you're in that
Yeah.
part, you're
Yeah.
you're exalt. That's your
That's what it is.
that's what you're giving. That's
Mhm.
what you're giving. That's what you're giving.
Yeah.
That in which case it makes you more more receptive.
Right.
When
Mhm.
God can speak to you, and then you can take what His
You
word says
minister
and
it.
give it
Mhm.
and give it to other
That's
people.
right.
So you always find like that be your next step.
Yeah.
You
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying?
That's right.
Um,
That's the truth.
Look at Mark. He said he may have missed it. Did y'all mention the OG's Gideon band? No, we didn't. You got to mention them now.
This guy. Yeah.
Mark Tatum's next week. He's
I
coming
know.
in.
I know Big Mark. So I remember when Gideon Band first was getting recognized and they was blowing up. I was there in the crowd. I had in this image at the time.
Right.
And Gideon Band was on the stage with Urban Outreach. And the Urban Outreach, it was at the elementary school outside with the big stage.
I
And
remember.
Tracy Morgan still
Yeah.
had the radio. That's how I met Tracy Morgan. And Gideon Band was on the stage, and I was there. But yeah, shout out to Gideon Band, man. They was one of the pioneers of the game.
Yeah.
Then they switched over and got all mint condition on us, you know what I'm saying? Respect. So, but yeah, so another side of that with Gospel Go-Go maturing me, with all the personalities, like I said, I learned the business with it because it definitely was a business aspect to it, a leadership aspect to it, character aspect, learning how to deal with your brothers in spite of your differences.
Yeah, I know it.
So, I mean, we've been through it all.
Yeah.
So, a lot of that, man, it just made me a better in character. So, man, let me see. I had like almost, 5 bands? New Creation, In His Image, Living Proof, Body of Evidence right now. Oh, I was singing for 10 Commandments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Left that band, made another band. I can't even remember all of them. But yeah, man, it built me as a leader.
So now I'm skipped to your now.
Yeah.
Right. So now, tell me about what you're doing now.
Okay.
Because we came out on the streets with you.
Right.
And what I know about you, everybody, not everybody, but there are ascension gifts. There are 5 of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You are clearly,
yeah, my office.
the office of evangelist.
Yep, that's my office.
And and it's cool to watch you.
Yeah.
But tell me about what you're doing right now.
Okay.
Tell me about what is it? I don't want to.
I look at you. This is my man, y'all. So he know everything. So, what I'm doing now is I'm running this church called the Stones House. In the Stones House, what I learned from God with this evangelist. I ain't gonna say no names. He was from a different race too. But he was cool. Like, he listened to hip hop, you know. He was one of those. Okay. He wasn't a black guy, he was a white guy, you know what I mean? But he was an off the hook evangelist, you know what I mean? He worked in the office of evangelist. And guess what? One day he got jumped on the corner of East Capitol. He got jumped by the hood, you know what I mean? And he came back talking, so he on fire for God and Jesus loves him, but he got jumped bad, man. And black eye and everything, he came around bad. So we was like, what's going on? You know, well, look, I'm led by the power of Jesus. Hey, bro, you gotta have some street smarts, bro. You just can't be running up with people talking about Jesus loves them, and you know, people ain't try. You gotta have some street smarts. So before you even jump out there to street ministry, first you gotta at least come from the streets, or be coached if you got a heart for it. Right. Because I'm not gonna steer you away. Right. At least run with some evangelists first that's doing it in an effective manner. Because trust me, even though I'm from that part of Southeast DC, right, you got to best to believe that I sat for at least about 5 years before I went back out into ministry work, and sat under different pastors that was effective at doing street ministry. You know what I'm saying? With Uncle C.J. Blair being one. Right. See what I'm saying?
He be here.
So,
He be here.
Oh, I know that's right. So, you know, it's certain people, even though I'm from that part, but it's some people that, even though you from there, you can't come back to the streets talking about Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go to hell. You can't come to them like that. You got to come with it with love first. You know how to, what you call it, cut the ground up first so you can lay the seeds. Right. So you can get their attention and draw them in. Right. Because if you go in there all Christian-y with your suit on, you're going to mess the whole situation up. They're going to see you a miles in the way. They might think you po-po, you know what I mean? Right. You got to come in there with love first. Right. So I would tell a person that's interested in it, if they got a heart to do it, I'll tell them first, get with somebody that can coach them in it before they do it. Right. Yeah. That's what I would say.
So what's your ideal? How would you want to see the world? If everything, you know, like how would you want to see how would you want to see the world? Like how do you think the world should be?
I think the world, that's a good question actually, because I do have an answer for it.
I bet.
If all the churches were destroyed and there was no building at all, that's how I want the world, just like that, with all the believers outside on the block, praising and worshiping and doing everything that they doing inside that building, outside on the street, healing, deliverance, take away that theology, preach right there on the corner. Jesus saves, all them thousands and hundreds of people, that's what I'm looking for. If the buildings, I want all the buildings just taken away. No church building, no synagogue. All the people right on the corner, on the blocks, in the neighborhoods, in the parking lots. That's what I see the world. That's heaven on earth to me. Right. Honestly speaking.
What do you see as the biggest problem in, let's not say in the church, but just in the world? Like what do you see, like what stops, what do you think stops, with the exception of the obvious, like, you know, like the enemy or the demonic influences, but in a more practical or pragmatic answer, what do you think is, you know, like what stops people from really you know, getting a touch from?
I already understood where you was going.
Go ahead.
I had a lot of practice. That was some of the other practices that I was able to obtain in Gospel Go-Go. I've seen what the problem was. Right. See what I'm saying? So the main problem was ego in the pulpit. That's the main problem. It's ego in the pulpit. If you remove ego in the pulpit, it'd be a happy day on this earth. You hear me? If you can remove the pulpit and ego, because that's how it was. Even in Gospel Go-Go, as evangelistic as it was, look, I'm lining it up for y'all. Right. So even in gospel go as evangelistic as it was still religious.
Right.
Because you had the top bands and you had the bands that wasn't so popular.
Right. Okay.
And the top bands had their platform,
Mm-hmm.
but the platform for y'all that wasn't cranking so hard or they didn't think y'all was ready for that platform.
Right.
Y'all, we wasn't invited. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We wasn't invited. It was like, y'all over here, we over here.
Yeah. Church has always been a hierarchy.
It's the same thing. These cats are straight celebrities. I was like, are y'all millionaires or are y'all because the Jesus I know, when he sat on the hill, he had to leave his town. I know we on time.
No. I'm
just so y'all know, my man always been time, hey, structure. If y'all need help with y'all business, bring Riff-Raff. I'm just saying. Anyway, so Jesus, as powerful as he was amongst the crowd.
Absolutely.
Even to the point where somebody grabbed him in his garment, he felt the virtue leave. Mm-hmm. He like, who touched? My question is, I think you already knew who touched you.
Of course he did.
You just wanted to just make it known, like, somebody touched me. And he wanted to make a point that I'm in the crowd with everybody.
Right.
With the lowest of the low.
Absolutely.
And they decided to touch me. And they can touch me. Mm-hmm. With these cats now,
untouchable.
You can't even do a Facebook inbox. Hey, man, I'm sorry. Look, I ain't going to say no names. They got these pastoral shits, bruh. You hit them in the inbox, they will not respond to you at all. No reply. Talk to my minister.
Right.
I mean, you know, hey, I'm pastor such and such. I get shout out to certain pastors that still down to earth, and they are big. They doing big things. You know what I mean? Even Riff-Raff. I mean, he as powerful as this dude is, making moves.
Powerful.
I can still look. He ain't gonna take that. I can still hit Riff anytime. For anything, and he still come for me though. Like if he disagree with something,
absolutely.
He the only important. Look, this dude got so much more important things to do, but he will have time.
There is nothing more important. There's nothing more important. Like nah, bro. I don't. Nah. Sometimes you know, like I said, we operate in different graces.
Yeah.
You know, we both have gifts. I've got
That's
teacher,
dope.
you got evangelist. And so we just operate in different areas. And
That's
so
dope.
it's like, you know, and so, you know, funny, I think me and Tatum are probably the same.
Yeah.
And so we'll probably have this, you know, next week when Tatum comes, we'll probably have some like theological, you know.
Yeah, talk,
You know, but, you know.
That's good.
So, so hot topic.
Mm-hmm.
Hot topic. Tell me how you feel. And I think I'm going to ask everybody this because it's a hot topic, although I hate talking about it. But let's talk about it. Tell me how you feel about Kanye. Yeezy.
Man, here's my thing. To me, people who have something to say about him are people intimidated by him.
Well, everybody's intimidated by him.
I'm not.
I'm talking about everybody in it.
They are. Yeah. Like anybody in church.
Yeah.
Everybody want to have this prophetic word that, oh, God, this is not of God, with a blah, blah, blah. Slim. God ain't even saying that.
Right. What do you think about it? Aside from what the world.
I think he's doing what God want him to do.
Mm-hmm.
See, here's the thing. Right? I'm going to shoot straight.
Sure.
God created good and evil. Mm-hmm. People keep forgetting this.
Mm-hmm.
So even evil has a purpose. So evil don't do nothing without permission from the Messiah. Mm-hmm. Come on now. So even Lucifer is on a time frame, and he knows it. That's why he raises hell. Mm-hmm. So Kanye is at the purpose of God. Even Trump. You know what I'm saying?
Well, listen, I tell people this all the time, and I'm gonna tell people this all the time. Judas was in the will of God.
Yep.
Right?
Sure
Peter
enough.
was out of the will of God, which is the reason why Jesus turned around and told Peter, "Get thee behind me, Satan."
Right.
And Peter was trying to have his back. Like, what you mean they're gonna kill you? Nah, we got
right.
these knives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Peter was trying to have his back, but Jesus had to turn to Peter and rebuke Peter.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But he turned to Judas and said, "So it's all as well, my friend."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? After being betrayed. So it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've never had a problem with Kanye. Actually, I feel like every single record I've always heard Kanye I've always heard, like every record Kanye talks about God.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you go back to the beginning. Now, how I feel
Yeah.
about Kanye right this second, I think Kanye is like, I think he's the black Mozart right now,
Yeah.
right? I believe he's a genius in how he thinks.
Yeah.
I believe he has a lot to offer to Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
Where I disagree, it has nothing to do with him,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It has to do with what surrounds him.
Okay.
I disagree
I
with
totally
how
agree.
he is being used.
That's right.
Not how he is expressing
There
himself.
you go.
Because I believe that his relationship that he's coming to, he's coming into,
Yeah.
I believe it to be 100%
Yeah.
authentic. Like I believe the relationship he's coming into with God, I believe he's 100% authentic. I
Yeah.
think I don't trust the powers that be.
Exactly.
Right? Because we have a way in church and in Christendom
Yep.
of using people for what they have, and then when they mess up, we
That's
spit
right.
them out.
That's right.
Right?
That's
So
right.
we take a babe in Christ
Mm-hmm.
and we platform them as if they're a seasoned Christian.
That's right.
And then when they mess up, right, after
Throw
we've
'em out.
used them
Mhm.
and after we drain them from everything they have,
That's right.
then we kick them to the curb.
That's right.
And what I worry about is that we'll do that to someone who I see
Yeah.
as this generation's Mozart,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And people will people who are artsy like that,
Uh-huh.
who are just people who are just art,
Yeah.
all art like that,
Mhm.
they will inherently go with how they feel,
Yeah.
right?
That's right.
However, we serve a God that's the God above your feelings.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
The God that says, be angry,
Yeah.
but
that's
sin not. Which
Exactly.
means I gave you, and I respect the feeling that you will get angry.
That's right.
right?
That's right.
But then I also gave you the control over your anger.
That's right.
So be angry,
Yeah,
but then
sin
take
not.
another action.
That's right.
Which means that I am God over
Yeah.
the anger.
Mhm.
And so what
Real
I'll
talk.
see is if we as a culture, it's like you gotta pay attention to Christendom, not to
That's
Kanye.
right.
Like you gotta pay attention
Exactly.
to Kanye. Listen to his music.
Mhm.
Appreciate. I want all the secular artists to do gospel records. Do it. Do it. You know
That's
what
how I
I'm saying?
feel.
Do it.
Mhm.
You Snoop Dogg,
Yep.
R. Kelly,
Yep.
do it. You know what I'm saying? But we have to learn how to embrace them, learn how to pastor them,
Yeah.
and learn how to walk with them.
Yeah.
Because what they're doing is they're oh yeah, come on out to the
Yeah.
church, come on out, because what they're doing is they know that they're going to be able to use Kanye, bring a bigger crowd, say Jesus can use anybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
and and then
That's
there's
right.
this, and what you also see is the gospel music. I probably shouldn't say this.
Now you telling the
I'm
truth?
about to say it anyway.
Yeah.
What you also see is the gospel music world,
Mhm. Yep.
because Kanye did not go through their system
Nope.
to get to where he is.
You ain't got to.
Right? The gospel music calls the shots in Christendom.
Yep.
Right? The gospel music industry calls the shots.
Mhm.
They tell you who is going to be raised up.
That's
they
right.
tell you who is going to be put down.
That's
they tell
right.
you, and the church just accepts it.
Yep.
Oh, what y'all want? Okay, because a lot of people will compete. They'll talk about Leandria and blah blah
Yep.
blah. No, gospel music chose her,
That's right.
and they choose to continue to promote her,
That's
and you
right.
will continue to listen to
Yep.
her. And so
Telling the truth.
and so, but they didn't choose Kanye.
Yeah.
A bigger power than the gospel
course.
music industry chose
They
Kanye.
chose Kanye.
And what you see right now is you see a battle between the two.
I know.
Between the two worlds have nothing to do with God, nothing to do with Christianity, nothing to do with
It's the
whether or not
same-
somebody's going to be
Peep
saved.
game. It's the same concept. I just put it on Facebook before I got here. It's the same concept of the magicians. Remember when Moses told them to set the captives free? And Moses said, I got this stick, and it turned into a snake. And the magicians, and he said, come, show yours, can you do this?
Right,
So the magicians came out and said, we could do that too.
right,
So their stick turned into snakes too.
right.
You know what I'm saying? But I just want to see the swallow up of the two snakes. But God could also be using Kanye to the point of saying, this is what y'all been doing anyway. Showboating, ego. You know what I'm saying? platform.
There is no question in my mind that God is using Kanye. There is no question in my mind.
I totally agree.
He's for a couple of reasons. I see a lot of people coming to Christ.
All for
Kanye
that.
is no question,
The
right?
gospel
But
getting
I also-
worldwide.
Right. I also see him using Kanye to expose
Yep.
what
The
we
church.
what we really made of.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? What we really made of. Because a lot of us are opportunists when it come down to this thing.
That's
we're
right.
opportunists.
You right.
It's not about souls. It's an opportunity to be a pastor. And I can't take away from a lot of people who came from in Baltimore. In Baltimore, there is one of the things that when I lived in Baltimore, I lived there for 10 years. There isn't a lot of job opportunities.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
You right.
So you could either you can play ball.
Yeah.
You can sell dope.
Yeah.
Or if you want to get a Bentley, right? If you have I'm trying to buy some real. I'm trying to buy you're trying to buy a big house and a Bentley, blah 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 blah.
Yep.
You ain't gonna do that working at McDonald's.
You right.
It ain't no real opportunities out there. The black unemployment rate is really high.
Yep.
So we got
Truth.
you got dope. We got ball.
Yep.
We got rap
Yep.
or music,
Yep.
right? And we
Yep.
got pastor,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Because we can do that.
And
So it's such an interesting. And we
it's
so we
different down
become opportunists instead of people that actually want to see change in the world.
That's right.
And but that exposes you.
Yeah.
Right.
It do.
Because it's funny right now because you can't even say I'm a Kanye fan, right?
Yeah.
Every record, okay, every record. I heard this one. I was like, musically,
The
musically,
music was dope. The music was dope
for
to me.
Musically, I was like, this is one of his strongest.
Wow.
Lyrically,
the production.
production.
Yeah.
Lyrically, I was
say
like,
that
this is
too.
one of his weakest.
Yeah.
But that's because I've listened to every single Kanye record, every single one.
That's right.
And, and so that was my.
True.
But when it come down to what he's doing out here in the streets and what
Yeah.
he's doing in the culture and what he's doing, I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep.
I want to see where it goes to.
Me too. Me too.
I want to see where it goes to. I want to see how it grows.
Yep.
I saw the Nebuchadnezzar thing that he did. I saw parts of it. I didn't, I got a title, but I didn't. I saw parts of it. But it was one of those things you gotta really sit down and really, because Kanye, his brain. So you gotta really sit down and analyze. Because I like opera, and then I like I like musicals, and I like the Bible, and I like so all of these kind of cool, these cool little things tingling, tingling my senses. I gotta have time. So I haven't really, but I like the idea of what he's doing. I like what he's doing.
Yeah.
I just wanna, I want us to be more supportive of him and not more, and not use him more so than support him. Sit back and watch him. Right. He don't got to do a church tour. Yeah. He gonna be big.
He already making moves. He already making moves.
Regardless of what he do, he gonna be big. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that it's really, it really becomes something. Like if he really becomes someone.
You never know.
I want him to become more like a Paul and less like a Constantine. Yeah. Because Constantine made the Christian church big. Yeah. But Constantine was a pagan. Right. So all the church building, that was a Constantine idea. Yeah. He looked at Christianity and was like, oh man, we can make this big by adding all this pagan stuff to it. And a lot of things that we see today are things that he implemented. And so I would like to see Kanye more of a Paul. Wow. And less of a Constantine. And what we actually are trying to do as in Christendom is make him into Constantine. Right. You know what I'm saying? And not into Paul. And so, anyway, I can,
Hey, you telling it. He preach. It's his interview, y'all.
Whatever. So, this
is good.
Wrap me up. Tell me where I can get in contact with you.
Well, you my homie, so you get in contact with me anywhere.
Yeah.
But
where's the next place that Stone's House gonna be?
All right, so we'll be back on South Capitol and Southern Avenue.
Okay, right there by the gas
December
station.
December 7th. Yep, we'll be right back out there. December 7th from 11 to 1. I got like 3 hip hop artists.
Okay.
And then we're gonna be giving out suit, Bibles, and socks. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So just giving out to the community, ministering to them. Then we
Okay.
out of there at 1 o'clock.
I don't make socks.
I got socks though.
I'm saying, last time I
You
came
need to
out,
put your
I came
logo
out
on them
at the
joints.
with the hoodies. We had mad hoodies on the corner.
yeah,
you know,
you
like
did.
we gave out a bunch of hoodies.
They was gone in no time.
There, no time. It was
Yeah.
good though, man. It
That
was
joint
good
was
to just
bomb.
be out there and just be like.
Oh,
amongst
you know,
the
my wife
people.
said, she was like, "Why you ain't let him rap?" I said, "I ain't even think about." I'm so used to seeing you in your CEO status.
Yeah.
I was like, I ain't even think about that. I don't know if you would have though.
Man.
I don't know if you would have, but you
I
know.
mean, it's always. I mean, I do. Whatever. I'm with you.
So you slide through.
I'm
But yeah,
with you.
so the stoneshouse.us is the website. The Stones House.
The Stones House.
Yep.
The Stones House.us.
.us. So you can find me on there.
Okay. What about Gospel Go Go?
Bodyevidenceband.com.
Okay.
So-
What's your next? Where y'all?
So
at next?
we
'Cause y'all always somewhere.
I know.
Always somewhere doing
So
something.
we-
And I be going out places. I be like, yeah, man, I'm about to go somewhere. Ain't none of these Christians gonna be at. And next up,
Yep.
Body of Evidence. You be like, come on.
Sure enough. Hey, that's how you gotta do it, man. You gotta spread it around, man. So right now we actually just signed to this label
Okay.
who I've been kicking it with for a while down in Baltimore.
Okay.
Right?
Who's that?
There's so many opportunities down in Baltimore, and musically,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
Which label is that?
They call it Shekinah Records.
Okay, I know.
So we rolling with Shekinah, so we'll be releasing some albums for 2020
Oh, sweet.
versus planning all the shows.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna be releasing albums this time and strategic shows. So,
Okay.
and I'm also in the inbox already now talking to a spot down in Beltsville.
Okay.
So we probably be having our first Sundays after church mixes down there along with this other gospel go-go band.
Okay.
So we'll keep y'all posted. So just follow Body Evidence Band, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Oh. That's what's up. So I have this thing.
Yeah.
Before we go, what time is it? Before we go, I have this thing that I do.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What he talking about, y'all?
Don't nobody know. I got this thing I do where, so I have a thought process,
Okay.
right? And so I was like, all right, well, this is the first show. Kurt came out.
Mhm.
Of course, you're reliable.
Mhm.
You just, I know I can hit you for anything.
Yep.
And I know you'll be there. So I was like, all right, well, what I'm gonna do for him, because he came out. So
Mhm.
I told you I could size you up.
Oh yeah.
I could size you up. From the last time I saw you, I was
This
like,
dude.
you a size 12, you were
Yeah.
42, you were 3X.
Uh-huh.
And so my homegirl, one of my partners, at Reach Clothing,
Yeah.
which if you don't know, you must be crazy. You don't know me if you don't know the company I run. Reach Clothing. So we was working on this design for this sneaker,
Okay.
and so it was Italian made, Italian leather. We got a company in Italy to actually make it.
Hey, y'all hear that?
Yeah, and so we got a prototype
Okay.
of it, and so that, my friend, is what I'm leaving you with.
For real, I got me some free tennis shoes. Man. Look at that, man. Hey, y'all, look at God, yo.
They 12s. Well, they say 10s, but they 12s from a Italian.
Hey, y'all see that?
Pull it out.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, man. Let me see what these things looking. In the box, custom. Hey, look at these Jones, man. Oh yeah, I'll probably be rocking these Jones. Okay.
Yeah. So feel them.
Okay.
So that's Suede right there.
Y'all see that?
That's Suede. So Aaron Raw is my partner.
Okay.
And she's one of the partners I have on Reach. She does like all of my social media stuff. She's pretty dope at everything. And so I was like, all right, boom.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
My man.
Yeah. Yeah.
These Jones dope. Y'all see that? I'm just saying. That's this status though. I ain't even surprised with this dude no more.
But yeah, that's joint.
Thanks,
That's Italian leather on it. Italian suede. You feel it. It's soft.
Wow.
It's her. You can look at the front of it. RZR. That's her.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's her joint.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, still in
Dope.
production. No, trust me, there'll be no one on the streets with him.
I believe it. I probably wear these Jones once every while. Probably took the shows or something. My man, thanks, bro.
That's what's up, man. Listen, man, I appreciate you.
No,
I appreciate you coming. I appreciate your support. I appreciate what you do in the streets, really. I appreciate knowing that there is someone out here, because like I said, like I'm not the spiritual warfare dude.
Yeah.
I know when it's happening, like today.
Yeah.
Like today,
Yeah.
before this show, ain't none of this work.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just bought all of this stuff to do this show.
Wow.
Start hooking it up.
Yep.
Ain't none
Spiritual
of it
warfare.
work. And a lot of other stuff happened just during the course of the day, and it's like, I know what this is.
Yep. You
know
already
what I mean?
know.
And I stopped in the middle of this joint, and I just went to, I just went to the Lord. I was in here for like 30, 45 minutes just praying before, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm acclimating myself to what it means to be doing spiritual warfare. But I know that you are one that is, spiritual warfare savvy.
Yeah. I wouldn't say savvy, but I'm hip.
I say savvy. But I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing out here.
You too, bro.
We going. Like I said, I'm gonna get you and your wife.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get y'all back. Probably like somewhere around Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Have a little wives thing.
That'd be dope.
And it'd be dope. Brother, thank you very much, man.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, we out here. Thank y'all for watching. This is the Elevation Podcast. It's going to be available tomorrow, just for everybody to listen to. It'll be available tomorrow and on all of the podcast places, on your iTunes podcast and Spotify and all of that stuff.
Good stuff.
So hope y'all will check it out. Thank y'all for hanging with us. We out.
Peace out.